Genesis 26. Short little break. Feeling much better. Let's keep it rolling. Studying the Old Testament. Let's get after it. Alright, Genesis 26, the Philistines. Alright. Pop it on up. Get a nice little image going. Alright. And there was famine in the land, besides the famine that was in the days of Abraham, and Isaac went unto Amalek king of the Philistines unto Gerar. And the Lord appeared unto him, and said, Do not go into Egypt, dwell in the land in which I tell thee of sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and I will bless thee, for on thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries. And I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father, and I will make thee seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and give unto thy seed all these countries. In thy seed shall all nations of the earth be blessed. Because of Abraham obeyed my voice, and I kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar. And the men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, She is my sister. For he feared, She is my wife, lest he said, The men of this place should kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon. And it came to pass, when she had been there a long time, that Amalek, king of the Philistines, looked out the window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah his wife. And Amalek called Isaac and said, Behold, of surely she is thy wife, and how saidst thou, She is my sister? And Isaac said unto, Because I said, Lest I die for her. Sounds familiar. And Amalek said, What is this thou hast done unto us? One of the people might lightly have lain with thy wife, and thou shouldst have brought guiltiness upon us. And Amalek charged all his people, saying, That he toucheth this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Then Isaac sowed in the land that he received in the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him. And the man waxed great and went forward, and grew until he became very great. For he had possessions of flocks, and possessions of herds, and great store of servants, and Philistines envisioned him. For all that dwells with his father's servants has digged in the days of Abraham his father. The Philistines had stopped them and fulfilled them with earth. And Amalek said unto Isaac, Go from this, for thou art much mightier than we. And Isaac departed thence, and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar, and dwelt there. And Isaac digged against the wells of water, and which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father. For the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and had called their names after the names by which his father had called them. And Isaac's servants digged into the valley, and they found there a well of springing water. And the herdsmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac's herdsmen, saying, The water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him. And they digged another well, and strove for that also, and he called the name of it Sitnah, and he removed them thence. and digged another well, and for that they strove not. And he called the name of it Rehoboth, and he said, For now the Lord hath made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. And when he went up from thence to Beersheba, and the Lord appeared unto him the same night, and said, I am God of Abraham thy father, fear not, for I am with thee, and I bless thee, and I multiply thy seed for my servant Abraham's sake. And he builded an altar there, and called it upon the name of the Lord, and pitched his tent there, and there Isaac's servants digged a well. Then Amalek went to him from Gerar, and Azahut, one of his friends, and Phelok, the chief captain of his army. And Isaac said unto them, Wherefore come ye to me, seeing ye hate me, and have sent me away from you? And they said, We saw certainly that the Lord was with thee, and we said, Let there be now an oath betwixt us, and even betwixt us and thee, and let us make a covenant with thee that thou wilt do us no hurt, as we have not touched thee, and as with we have done unto thee nothing but good, and have sent thee away in peace. Thou art now blessed of the Lord. And he made them feast, and they did eat and drink, and they rose up betimes in the morning, and swore one to another. And Isaac sent them away, and they departed from him in peace. And it came to pass the same day, where was I? And it came to pass the same day that Isaac's servants came and told him concerning the well which they had digged, and said unto him, We have found water. And he called it Sheba. Therefore the name of the city is Beersheba unto this day. And Esau was 40 years old when he took his wife Judith, the daughter of Beri the Hittite, and Bashemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, which were a grief mind unto Isaac and Rebekah. All right. Genesis 26 is a fascinating, unique chapter in the book of Genesis because it's the only chapter in the entire Bible where Isaac primarily stands alone as the main character, as the primary standalone main character. In the surrounding narrative, Isaac acts as a bridge between the larger-than-life father Abraham and his hyperactive son Jacob. But here the lens zooms in exclusively on Isaac. Hold on 1 second. All right. The primary literary takeaway of Genesis 26 is to show that Isaac is the mirror image to the heir Abraham. He faces the exact same trials, struggles with the exact same fears, and falls into the same sins, ultimately inherits the exact same divine blessings. I knew it sounded familiar. Here's the deep context behind the drama and the repeating history of the water wars in Genesis 26. Chapter opens with a harsh reality check, and there was famine in the land, and besides the famine, that was the days of Abraham. Faced with starvation, Isaac prepares to do exactly what his father did. Pack up the caravan, head south to Egypt, but God physically steps in to the storyline to alter his route. He tells Isaac, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land in which I shall tell thee of. God challenges Isaac to stay in Canaan despite the economic collapse, and formally repeats the massive Abrahamic covenant directly to him. God promises to give Isaac all these countries, to multiply his descendants like the stars, and to bless all nations of the earth through his line, explicitly because Abraham obeyed my voice. Genesis 26, 4 through 5. This critical theological moment, the covenant is no longer just Abraham's contract, it's officially transferred to the second generation. Isaac obeys, pulling his tents up to settle in the border territory of Gerar. The history repeats itself with "she is my sister," like father, like son. The moment Isaac settles in Gerar, his encounters with the local ruler, King Amlamek, the royal title in Philistia, much like the Pharaoh in Egypt or Caesar in Rome. This is likely the son or the successor of Amlamek who dealt with Abraham in chapter 20 and 21. Instantly, Isaac falls into his father's old fear-driven trap. When the local men ask him about his beautiful wife Rebecca, he panics and lies. "She is my sister," for he feared to say, "She is my wife," lest he thought the men of the place should kill me for Rebecca. The truth is exposed in a highly cinematic way. King Amlamek looks out a palace window one afternoon and catches Isaac sporting or playing affectionately with Rebecca in a way that no brother ever would. At this point, he should be like 40 years old, right? Gotta keep the playful marriage alive. The Hebrew word for sporting is medzach, which is a direct pun on Isaac's own name, Yitzhak. Abimelech calls Isaac into the court and thoroughly chews him out for exposing the kingdom to divine guilt. The king issues a royal decree protecting the couple under penalty of death. Once protected, Isaac experienced explosive supernatural economic growth. He plants crops and reaps a staggering 100-fold harvest in a single year because the Lord blessed him. He accumulates massive herds of flocks and servants until the text notes that the local, Philistines deep down envied him. His, his envy sparks bitter, passive-aggressive resource war. The Philistines take all the water wells that Abraham's servant had dug decades earlier and plugs them with dirt. King Amlamek tells Isaac to pack up and leave. "Go from us, for art thou much mightier than we." In an arid desert climate, filling a well with dirt was a hostile act of economic sabotage. It was an attempt to starve out Isaac's livestock and force him off the grid. Isaac takes the high road rather than staring at a bloody civil war with his primitive militia. He retreats into the valley of Gerar and begins patiently grueling process of redigging his father's old wells, deliberately calling them by the exact same name his father had used. As Isaac's servants dig deeper into the valley, they strike a vein of precious rushing underground water, springing water, so to speak. The local herdsmen of Gerar immediately swoop down in to claim an ownership of water. Watch how Isaac names the wells based on the escalating legal and physical friction. Well 1 is Esek, meaning contention or struggle, because the local herders argued over it. Well 2 is Sineth, meaning enmity or hostility, sharing the same root word as Satan/accuser because of the fight intensified. Well, number 3 is Rehoboth. Isaac moves further away and digs a third well. This time nobody fights him for it. He names it Rehoboth, which means broad place or room, declaring, "For now the Lord hath made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land." The chapter comes to a triumphant close when Isaac moves his camp back to the historic site of Beersheba. That very night, God appears to him again to confront him. Fear not, for I am with thee. Isaac builds an altar, pitches his tent, and his servants strike water yet again. Seeing Isaac's unstoppable success, the divine backing King Abimelech marches out to meet him along with his military advisor and general. Isaac confronts them bluntly. Wherefore come ye to me? Seeing ye hates me, I have sent me away from you. The pagan leaders confess their undeniable reality. We saw certainly that the Lord was with thee. They request a formal binding covenant, peace of non-aggression. Isaac hosts a massive feast for them. They swear mutual legal oaths following the morning, and the site is officially locked down as a place of peace. Genesis 26 provides an ancient reader that Isaac is not a weak link in the chain by honoring his father's legacy, digging his father's wells, and handling hostility with quiet, faithful dignity. Isaac secures his place as a massive independent patriarch of the nation of Israel. Interesting.